back into
The following is a sponsored program paid for by Robin Gwaltney Group-RE Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning, Saturday after a stormy Friday on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. I'm Andy Brownell, and it's time to chat with Robin Gwaltney Group-RE Results. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
I'm good.
Are you as ready for summer as I am? Because I am really ready for summer.
I'm always ready for summer. I'm always sad when summer ends.
I have a lot of tulips and daffodils, and it looks like summer. It just doesn't feel like summer.
Well, yesterday was hot and muggy before the storms hit.
Yeah.
And we had yesterday the tornado activity just south of the city.
I was out
southeast.
Showing houses right during it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it was fun. Actually, I was showing a couple of big houses up on Weather Hill, and I said to the buyers, let's just pull our cars in the garage because they have a huge 4-car garage with no cars in it. So we did. And then right after we did that, the hail came. So I was glad.
Yeah, there was some big hail, too. But you had some huge hail over by Wabasha the week before, right?
Yes. I don't know. I don't remember spring with so much hail.
If you talk to the insurance companies, that is a change. That our area, Minnesota, is seeing more hailstorms than previous.
Well,
and that's driving up all these claims for roofs.
Right. One of my good friends has a son that's in the business of getting out there and, storm chasing and doing the roofs. And he said he's got enough work now after these storms to keep him busy all the rest of the season already.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping I never have to put another roof on.
Yeah. Well, it's
mine's
not
a couple of years old now, I think.
Yeah. So, I think ours is about 10 years old. But we did get hailed on, and we might have to get one. I don't know. We'll have to get it checked out. We had 3 hailstorms in one day.
Yeah. On Friday, the storm at my house, we didn't have the big hail here, but obviously nearby there were quite a few reports of darn big hail falling. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're out showing homes in a severe storm, it tells me you're still busy as busy can be.
Oh, my gosh. Somebody asked me. I said I clearly, honestly, do not remember being this busy in my whole career. Like, I am so busy, Andy. I have, at any given time in the spring market, I'm usually working on bringing on 8 to 10 new listings. I am working on double of that right now.
Wow.
I'm really busy, and somebody said, Robin, why? What do you attribute it to? Why do you think that is? And I said, I can honestly tell you I know what it is. It's because of AI. Okay? Because most of my business for the past 20 years has been referral, like in the high 90%. Either my past clients coming back to me, my past clients sending their family members, or my past clients sending their friends. That kind of thing. And that's where the majority of my business came from, which gave me a very good year after year after year, usually with just a slight increase from the year before, right? And all of a sudden, I have just got my phone just rings off the hook, which is great. I'm not complaining. Anybody that's listening to me, don't think that I'm complaining or that I don't want it, because I'm loving it. But I've been asking a lot of my people. I always ask, where'd you get my name, or, who gave you who recommended me? And most of the time they'll say a coworker, a friend, or my sister, whatever. And I've been hearing a lot of, I got your name from ChatGPT. I looked you up in AI. And so I think that, it probably doesn't hurt that the Gwaltney Group is the number 1 real estate team in all of Southeast Minnesota, and that we do sell, twice as much real estate as the second busiest team. And I also think that because I do this show and then the podcasts get put online, and then I do my TV segment on Midwest Access and those podcasts get put online, and I think that it affects the algorithm. So
you are everywhere.
So I'm everywhere, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it. But, thank God we have a great big team, and everybody can just help bear the weight. So, like, if I have listings to deal with and we have buyers that need to go look at houses, we've got people that can run out and do that, or if we've got more than one at the same time. So we just always make it work so that the answer is never no when you call the Gwaltney Group. If you say, can you come today to look at my house? We're going to find a way. Or if you say, can you show me houses today? We're going to find a way. And that's the power of a team. I'm so thrilled to, Scott and I have worked together for 26 years, but Brett joined us, over 4 years ago now. And of course, our son-in-law joined us just in January, and he is just killing it. He is doing so great. And it's not because I'm handing him leads. People think, oh yeah, sure, Robin's just handing him leads. No, he is out contacting people that he knows from his sphere, and he is selling houses. He has sold like 7, maybe 8 now. It's like a house every other week since the beginning of the year.
God,
it's wild.
Congratulations, Matt.
I know.
That's
I'm
awesome.
super proud of him. But most of the team members are just having a outstanding year because they're all hosting open houses and meeting people. And there's been a lot of people out and about at the open houses. And, if you call us, we answer our phone. And if you ask us to do something, the answer is yes. So we've been very, very busy and very blessed to be busy. So I'm grateful. So to every single person that's listening and has been calling me, because probably 3 of my new listings that I have right now are from listeners from this show. So I do appreciate that very much.
And I appreciate them listening.
Yes,
Thank you.
Me too.
It's not funny. It's, ironic maybe, because every time I hear a national newscast, it doesn't matter if it's on TV, radio, or in print, it's the doldrums.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The next bad thing is going to happen. And it's good to hear a positive report.
Yeah. Well, don't you remember, just a few years ago when there was the big commissions lawsuit and, commissions are going away, and now buyers have to pay their own commissions and sellers aren't going to pay them anymore. And the truth of the matter is, sellers are still paying the commissions. I'm going to tell you 99 point something %. If you think about it, a home buyer is going to come in to the market and they're only going to have so much money. They've got to have a certain percentage for their down payment. They have to have a certain percentage for their closing costs. They have to have a certain percentage just for the expense of moving, turning off all the utilities here, turning them all on here, getting the moving truck, getting the cleaning, all the stuff, right? And so now when they dreamt up this crazy idea that the buyers were going to then also pay the agent's commission, it's like, where's this money coming from? Well, I'll tell you where it would have came from if that's the way it would have been. They would have had to reduce their offer by whatever percentage they had agreed to pay their realtor.
Sure.
But instead, they're just doing it the same way we've always done it. The major changes were and still are that we aren't posting in the MLS what the seller is willing to pay toward the buyer's agent. And we're actually not even, we're listing the house and talking about what they're going to pay us, period. And that's what the whole point of the lawsuit was about.
Disclosure, right?
Right. And then we, of course, prepare people and let them know that on line 406 of the purchase agreement, it says seller will pay X number to the buyer's agent on behalf of the buyer, and expect that to be there. And so when we work their numbers, we say this is what it is. But what's great is that is just a negotiable part of the contract. So when people call me and say, hey, Robin, what percentage is your seller paying, or what's your broker to broker pay? And I'm like, no, we don't do that. We followed the lawsuit, and RE/MAX says if you're asking for it, ask for it in the contract. There's no predetermined set up money that's coming from RE/MAX to the other agency. That is just not the way we do it, right?
Right.
So I say, if you write a good offer, the seller will be willing to pay the commission. It's all about, at the end of the day, what the bottom dollar is going to be to the seller. So
Always.
my personal experience has been that people are writing better offers. I mean, the last market report says that houses in Rochester are selling on average for 99.1% of the asking price. So that's pretty darn good.
It is. And any little outlier out there would impact that. So
Correct.
It tells you probably the vast majority are right at 100 or even maybe a little above.
Or even more. Yes, correct.
All right, Robin, we need to take a break already. Back in a moment. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results. News Talk 1340 KROC AM 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96 to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM 96.9 FM. Robin, I've written a couple news stories, but I've read quite a few more about these horrible scams, these online scams where people, I guess, get duped into buying a house that's not really for sale.
It is so crazy. And getting people to wire money to accounts. And I will tell you, one of my first conversations I have with every new client, whether it's my new buyer or my new seller, is wire fraud is real. And I know that you think, I'm not an old person, I'm not a gullible person, whatever it is. But trust me, these scammers are good. And online real estate fraud in 2025, are you ready for this, was $275 million.
Wow.
The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center received more than 12,000 real estate fraud complaints last year. And this is why it's so important that you are lining yourself up with a trusted real estate professional and getting guidance. And I always tell my clients, do not send anything that has the slightest bit of confidentiality, never ever bank accounts, numbers, any of that to anybody without calling me first to see, is this real?
Yeah. This is about as good advice you could get. Now, how does this work, Robin? Because is it these people post ads out there?
Well, that's one of the things. Mm-hmm. I mean, people will pretend they own property that they don't. Like they see that it's sitting vacant, and so then they will they'll call an agent and say, yeah, I own this property. Would you get it listed for me? And now that you can do everything online, you don't have to meet face to face, in the office. It's easy to say, oh, sure, I can send you the listing contract, sign on the dotted line, send it back. Well, that's all great if you know that person really does own that land.
Yeah.
But I've heard of, even right here in our area, where realtors have fallen for that and listed a piece of property, put it up for sale, and then the real owner got wind that their property was for sale and they never listed it. Yeah. So, I mean, it is crazy.
And you can see why these scammers are doing it. It's lucrative.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's this whole internet scene is so valuable in so many ways, but it's also so scary in other ways.
Well, one of the things that they pointed out was that AI really helps the scammers appear to be more real, right? So it's just, they can make such real.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
they can
scary.
make slick ads.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very
And,
easily.
videos that have been manipulated, everything. So you could be doing a Zoom call, so you think, with somebody when indeed you're not. So it's just really scary.
Be cautious.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, work with somebody like you.
Cryptocurrency. I've had people call me and ask me, can I buy a house with Bitcoin? And I'm like, I'm sure you can, but not with me. You can't. I know
I'm
nothing,
not doing it.
and I'm just setting myself up for a big problem. I can see it coming.
It's an amazing how things have changed that way with this cryptocurrency, and you and I are probably we're probably past the idea that we'd even try to deal with that.
Yep, no way, nope, not a chance.
I think I told you about this before we went on the air, but I read the most interesting report this week. It was Wall Street Journal. And we always hear, there's a competition between the generations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we had it with our parents as well. Oh, it's worse for you. It's better for us. And I hear
back
it a lot.
In our day, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I hear it a lot from my kids. Oh, you guys had it easy. You guys could buy a house for this much money. You had, without ever accounting that our wages were a lot lower then.
Yeah, a lot
and everything's a lot more expensive now than it was then. And the Wall Street Journal, whoever did this, they analyzed it and came up with a whole bunch of graphs on different expenses that are normal in a lifespan. And they showed that essentially affordable for our generation because of the high interest rates of the 1980s. And then, it got better in the 1990s. But overall, a little bit of an advantage to the millennial generation, which they might find surprising. And most of the other costs, including food and even childcare, were comparable between the two different generations. The biggest difference? Student loans.
Yeah.
Student loan debt. That was the big outlier. Mm-hmm. And they came up on the short end of the stick on that. And I'm sure that impacts everything.
I remember when I went to school, I could always afford to just pay, semester by semester.
Yeah.
I worked as a server. We called it a waitress back in those days, but they call it server now. I always made good money in tips, and I always had what did they call that job that you could get at the college and get paid?
Student work? No, it wasn't that.
Yeah, it was. Student work something. But anyway, you could get so many hours, and so you got paid to do that. So between that and my other job, I could always pay for my schooling. So I was very, very fortunate. But it was a lot less money, too.
Oh, gosh, yeah. And now these kids are coming out with $100,000 or more in debt.
Ugh, yikes.
So I can see why that would crimp their ability to come up with money for a down payment.
I was actually showing houses to a when I say young couple, like my kids' age, like in their mid-30s, on Friday. And they had moved to Rochester from California. And they were so excited because they have two little ones, like a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. And they said in California, there's no chance that mom can stay home with the kids and they can buy a house. If they're going to buy a house there, then they both have to be working. And since they've been here in August, they've been renting, but she has been able to stay home with the kids and she's really loving it. And they feel like, gosh, we could even buy a really nice house because the pricing is so different here than it is in California. And they sold something there, of course. So they said we could even buy something here that she could afford to stay home or at very least work part-time. So I loved that. They said they had all good things to say about their move to Minnesota and how this is a really cool place and they really love living here. And, winter was kind of a shocker, but they think they'll get used to it. And so it was good. So, okay, I keep talking about how busy we are. And we are busy, busy, busy. But this is the first time in a long time that when I do this existing home sales snapshot, that all 4 regions home sales were down in the month of March. Okay.
Huh.
Usually the Midwest is up and the Northeast has been up lately, but sales were lower in March across all 4 major regions of the country, led by the sharpest decrease in the Northeast. Meanwhile, prices were up across the board.
So there you go. That tells us it's an inventory issue.
Led nearly by 6% annual gain in the Northeast, according to NAR's data. Northeast sales fell 8.5% in March compared to February, reaching an annual rate of 430,000. Sales were down 12.2% from a year ago. The median price was $494,500, which was up 5.7% from 1 year earlier. In the Midwest, sales decreased 3.2% in March, month over month, and to an annual rate of $920,000. Sales were also down 3.2% compared to a year ago. Median price is $315,500, which is up 4.9% from March of 2025. In the South, sales dropped 3.1% month over month to an annual rate of $1.86 million. Sales, however, are up 2.2% year over year. With a median price of $362,000, that's up slightly 0.8% from March of 2025. And in the West, existing home sales fell 1.3% month over month to an annual rate of $770,000, but still sales remain up 1.3% year over year, with a median price of $613,400, up 1.3% from March of 2025. So prices are going up, sales are going down, and you're exactly right. That just equates to a lack of inventory.
Supply and demand.
And just, I think the whole war, I think people just, are like, we just want things to settle down and get back to normal so we know how much we're going to be paying for gas because, it's scary. It doesn't, people think, well, what does gas matter? But once you buy a house, you have a budget, right? And you have so much money for the house payment and the insurance and the taxes and the utilities. And you still have to go out and buy groceries. You still have to put gas in your car to get to work. And if all those things are costing more, it does put a damper on people's house buying budget for sure. So
everything, it's all
connected.
That's for sure.
It's all connected.
All right. Need to take a break. Back in just a moment with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96 to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back to Saturday morning with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. And Robin, with the few minutes we have left to chat this morning, do you have some listings to share?
I do. And I'm going to start by apologizing to those listeners who also watch me on the Midwest Access segment because I talked about this on Thursday, but it's so important. Right now, high-end houses in Rochester are sitting longer than normal, and it's because they're competing. The existing homes are competing with the new construction homes.
Yep.
I think when I looked out of the last 6 months, 17 houses sold over $1 million, and of the 17, 15 were new construction. So it's making it tough for those existing ones. So even though the listings that I have in the high-end range are not overpriced. I mean, if an appraiser goes in, they're going to appraise. We know what the houses are worth. We know what they're being taxed at. We know what the real market value is. But I have 3 of them up in Weather Hill, and everybody knows because I've been talking about them for a while. And I talked to all 3 of the sellers, and they all decided to do a price improvement. So the first one is over at 1409 I think it's I should just find it here. Anyway, it was listed as $1,300,000. And I think the real tax value on that property was like $1,400,000. So we knew we weren't overpriced.
Right.
And Weather Hill with 5 acres or 4 acres or whatever it had, those houses are always really sought after. Anyway, the sellers are like, what's it going to take to sell it? Because we live out of state now and we don't want to have to worry about it, right? So they wanted to do a really aggressive price drop. And I'm like, oh, yikes, you guys don't got to go that hard, that heavy. But they decided to drop by $250,000. So that house up there, it's so cool. It's like a mid-century modern kind of feel. It's got walkways. It's got 4-car garage because it's got 5-car, 3-car.
You're describing my dream house.
It's beautiful. Views from the valley. And that thing is now listed at $1,050,000. And I'm going to tell you, the lot alone is worth that. And this is a gorgeous house. So if you're looking for a high-end house that's like a steal of a deal, I've got some up there. That beautiful house that I have up there that you've seen a few times, $2,495,000, so just under $2,500,000. They dropped by $145,000. They're at $2,350,000. And then the other one that I have up there on Meadowlark is gorgeous, big salt box, very traditional 2-story. They had all their wood floors redone. They had fresh paint throughout. Big house for a family. Sits on 5 acres. Those 5 acres could be subdivided. You can sell off as long as you keep at least 2 acres on, minimum. So they could sell off 2.5 or sell off 3. Anyway, that one is down to $1,000,001. So all 3 of these are priced below their value, and it's what it's going to take to get it sold right now. And I will tell you, the foot traffic has picked up like crazy. So we did an open house. We did an open house at the one over 1400 Weather Hill Drive, and that one we had 12 couples through last Saturday and 15 more on Sunday. And then I had 2 showings this week that both went really well. And then the big one for $2,350,000, we had 2 showings this week as well. And one of the couples told me that they'd been watching it for a while, but it was a little far out of their price range, but this changed things. So I think, price does matter. And sometimes you feel like, well, I know it's not the price because I'm not overpriced. That could be very true, but sometimes a better price just tempts people. I always use this line when I do a listing appointment. I say, I walk into TJ Maxx. The first thing that's there is luggage and bags. I do not need any luggage and I do not need any purses. But I love them both. I love purses and I love luggage. So sometimes it catches my eye. And if I look at a piece of luggage and it says, $279, I'm like, I don't need it. But if I look at that same piece of luggage and it's like $99, I'm like, oh, I got to have that. Well, I don't need it any worse. It just, the price motivated me, right?
Sure.
So the same thing happens with houses. So moral to my story is I've got 3 gorgeous luxury houses in the sought after Weather Hill, all priced super good. So they're not going to last long, I promise. And I will talk soon about which one sold first, okay?
All right. That's to get out in Weather Hills at those prices. Yeah, that's amazing. Yes. Really all right, nice. Robin. We better skedaddle, and I guess we'll check in next weekend.
Okay. Sounds great. Have a great week.
You as well. Thank you so much, as always. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.